I'm back with another album review. For the next 7 reviews, I'll be focusing on the material from Seether. Seether is a band from Pretoria, South Africa. When it comes to my album review series, I've mostly talked about artists from America, the UK, Canada, and Greece. This means that Seether is the first band I've talked about who are from South Africa. They've been around since 1999. The original name was sarin gas, but they changed their name to Seether in 2002 to not get confused with the chemical called sarin gas. Honestly, I think it's for the best they changed their name, and Seether is a much better name. Anyways, today's review is on Disclaimer 2, which is Seether's second studio album. Normally when I review music from a certain artist, I start with their debut album. However, I make an exception with Seether. The reason why is because all the songs that are on their debut album, Disclaimer, are on Disclaimer 2, which is essentially a recompilation of its predecessor. It was recorded between 2002 and 2004 and was released on Wind Up Records on June 15th, 2004. What's awesome is that Wind Up Records is the same record label that Creed were with, but that's a different story. Anyways, the album was produced by James Baumgartner and Bob Marlett. Granted, Jay has also worked with Bush. The lineup of Seether at the time consisted of Sean Morgan on lead vocals and rhythm guitar, Dale Stewart on bass, Pat Callahan on lead guitar, and John Humphrey on drums. However, John only plays drums on tracks 13 to 17 as well as number 20. Tracks 1 through 12 had Josh Freese on drums. And number 18 had Dave Coho. And number 19 had Nick Ashiro. Other musicians were involved, but we'll get back to this later. J. Baumgartner, Ulrich Wild, John Berkowitz, and Bob Marlett did the mixing. It was engineered by Dan Kurta. I just mentioned that this album is mostly focused on nu metal and alternative metal, since nu metal was extremely popular in the late 90s and especially throughout the 2000s. Though it does touch upon post-grunge with a handful of songs venturing into acoustic rock. When researching Seether, I read that their early work such as this, was inspired by some of the grunge bands of the 90s, such as Alice in Chains and Nirvana. In fact, Nirvana's album Nevermind is what inspired Sean Morgan to become a musician in the first place. Before I talk about the songs, I should mention that this is the deluxe version, which has 20 songs instead of 14. And now to talk about the songs, even though the first 12 are re-recorded versions of songs from Disclaimer. This album starts with Gasoline, which was released as a single on August 19th, 2003. This was the very first Seether song I ever heard, and I was hooked after hearing it the first time. There is a music video that was made, and I'll include a link in the description. This is a great song, we're only getting started. On top of that, this is my favorite song from the album. Up next is 69T. Despite listening to the song, it's more in the realm of alternative metal. After that is Fine Again, which was released as a single in August of 2002. When doing my research, I read that Sean Morgan wrote the song after his parents got divorced. During live shows, he often dedicates it to Dimebag Darrell and Dave Williams. A music video was made, and I'll include a link in the description. We followed up with Needles. I don't have a whole lot to say about this song other than the fact that it's really heavy. That's followed up by Driven Under, which was released as a single on March 4th, 2003. It's also more in the post-grunge category. The next song is Pride. I would say this is more of a nu metal song, considering how heavy it is. After that is Sympathetic. Now this is more in the genres of nu metal and alternative metal. We follow up with Your Bore. This is another nu metal song, and it's pretty heavy. Up next is Fade Away. This song sounds like it's more in the direction of post-grunge. Next up is Pig. The guitar riffs of the song make it sound pretty heavy, which is really awesome. The next song is Fuck It. The song is really heavy and is one of my favorite Seether songs. It's a shame that the song never got its own music video, nor was it released as a single. it's still really awesome nonetheless. You followed up with Broken. This song goes in a different direction since in the acoustic rock genre. That's followed up by Sold Me. It's where the album goes back to being heavy and venturing back into nu metal. This next song is called Cigarettes. We continue in the nu metal direction with this song. After that is Love Her. The song is more in the realm of post-grunge, which explains why it's not as heavy as most of the other songs. The next song is Take Me Away. Switch back to an acoustic route with this song. Up next is Got It Made. We go back to post-grunge with this song. It's followed up by Out of My Way. I'd say this is another one of my favorite songs from the album. Next song is Hang On. I don't have a whole lot to say about this song, but it's really good. And this album ends with a different version of Broken, which was released as a single on April 19th, 2004. What's awesome is that it features additional vocals from Amy Lee, lead singer of Evanescence. Then again, she's also worked with Korn, but that's a different story. The song was even featured on the soundtrack to The Punisher. A music video was made, and I'll include a link in the description. When doing my research, I read that this album peaked at number 53 on the Billboard 200, and was eventually certified platinum by the RIAA. I should also bring up the fact this album was met with mostly positive reviews from critics. As for my opinion, I think this album is absolutely fantastic. It shows that bands from South Africa do have talent, and it defines everything that's awesome about nu metal. Granted, millennials like myself grew up on nu metal, not this corporate bullshit known as K-pop. I strongly recommend this album, and the deluxe version should be easy to find. After all, I bought it directly from the band's web store. Now's the part where I question you. Have you listened to Disclaimer 2? If so, what are your thoughts on it? What's your favorite song from it? Do you know of any other bands from South Africa that I should check out? Let me know in the comments. If you like the video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to press the notification bell to notify future uploads. Thanks for watching, I'll be back soon with another review.